because so many people jumped on board before they even like waited to see what it was about. They're like, it's just like, I don't know, we live in a world where people are too enthusiastic at jumping at stories that confirm their biases, and instead of just pausing and going, what do I make of the story? What do I make of
So our
this
problems
story?
aren't new problems. They're just enhanced, sped up by this technology and lost to busy schedules that only seem to get busier as we get older. We look at these issues in our societies and our cultures and fondly remember a past that had never existed. Hi, my name is Brian and welcome to State of the Game for February 2019. In this video, we hope to explore the relationship that social media has had on the echo chamber within gaming culture. As such, the disclaimer at the beginning of this video still remains present. We're going to talk about a few things, and in no way is this video attacking any one creator on any platform or any one consumer or viewer out there. So how are we going to do that? Well, to start, we're going to define the problem and how it impacts us as gamers. Then it's the goal of this video to propose some possible solutions and engage in a dialogue with you down in the comments below. I think one of the solutions is a little bit surprising, and I'm looking forward to getting your thoughts on it as well. So let's go ahead and dive into the problem of the echo chamber. Nobody likes to hear that they're wrong. It's just simple as that. And what we see from social media like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter is that it drives things that we want to see right to us, making it very easy and simple. Now, at the end of the day, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, they're businesses and they want to show the content that we're interested in. This helps keep us on the platform, keep things going as long as possible. And companies are out there advertising to us very targetedly. They have more information about us than they've ever had before. So from a business stance and from a legal stance, this just makes perfect sense. But what this does is it feeds into our confirmation bias, and it can also lead us to feel very lonely at times, when sometimes we're standing on the edge and feeling like no one's shouting back at us. But then the ethical question, how and what responsibility do these companies have to this try and get us to engage in content that we're not interested in? Especially with so much content filling up the platform so quickly, it's very easy just to say, I want to enjoy this. People come to YouTube in this case to relax, to have fun, to get informed, to be a part of the conversation. People come for all kinds of reasons. And with so much to choose from, why would we choose something that's going to challenge us? Now, obviously this is a generalization because not everybody's going to have this attitude. And perhaps depending on the kind of day you had, maybe you're interested in learning about something else, another point of view, another perspective. But the reality is, as gamers, all this ends up serving to do is put up dividers between us as a community as a whole. And why is this important? Why is this subject, especially as it relates to gaming and gaming culture, so important? And I think it has to do with how we perceive the industry. When I started gaming, gaming was this small thing. It was not public. It wasn't necessarily put on billboards. It was usually made fun of. And gamers in all forms of media were typically the butt of the joke, and anybody filming anybody playing a video game, any true gamer knew that that was not what was going on. But as games have become more complex and more people are playing games, this is a good thing, or should be a good thing. Men, women, children, those who are working, those who are disabled, anybody, race, religion, color, creed, it doesn't matter. We're all gamers at heart. Gaming goes all the way back through human history. We are meant to play games and to do it together. So it really does break my heart when I see such division, such anger, such negativity. And all this is built off of preconceived notions that don't necessarily exist. Gaming has gotten better. Sure, it's not perfect, and there are things that obviously need to be worked on and that things that we can always work to improve. And this applies to any range of topics. You can pick it right now, and I'm sure there's going to be a fight waiting for you in the comments. And that's exactly the point. That's exactly the concern. We can have a discussion, we can have a debate, but we should be able to have it respectfully. We should be able to come together as a people and be able to be open to new ideas and new perspectives about the very hobby that we love. If we have the best arguments, let those arguments stand. If we have the best points, if we back the best games, that's great. But the problem becomes when we weaponize this against each other. Now, like I said, this problem isn't a new problem. because it's a human problem. It's something that we have to overcome. And I think we are the generation to do it. And I'm not just talking about a millennial. I'm not talking about a Gen X. I'm not talking about the next generation to come. I'm talking about us all. This generation of consoles, this generation of players, we can solve this problem. We can come together. But it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of rolling up the sleeves and a lot of intentionality. But I know gamers, and I know they're up for the challenge. So just add this to your challenge log, and let's get ready to rock and roll. So at the top of this video, I talk about that there's some surprising solutions, and so I'm going to save that one for last. I think it's really interesting, and we'll dive into it in a minute. So obviously, what can we do as individuals? How can we help to improve this online space? And I think, honestly, the first thing is to do is try not to take things personally. One of the things I see and I feel when I engage with some people in the comments is that maybe they've been burned before. I don't know what kind of day they're having. Maybe they're depressed or lonely. Maybe they just feel like they have to shout in the void because it's the only way that they might feel like they get a response. And when I respond, sometimes, and usually actually the majority of the time, they are surprised and they're taken back. So the first thing that we can do to help start to dissolve the echo chamber is not come in guns blazing, but come in with the idea and the hope of understanding. Now, we need to practice critical thinking, and that means to ask questions and question the questions and question the source and question the source's intentions and question the source's intentions and who paid for the study. This was something I learned in college from a fantastic nun, and I really try to apply this every day. Who wrote it? When did they write it? Who did they write it for? If we start asking these deep critical questions in a non-threatening and respectful way, we might be able to kind of break down the argument and understand either the emotion or the perception or who that person is and where they're coming from. Because I think if we can get to that point of understanding, everything's just going to get better from here on out from there. And that's actually one of the misconceptions of the world today. When we talk about fake news, when we talk about all of it, it's that the world is getting worse. And it's studies, and when you go look at factually based evidence for crime rates, for poverty, for all of these things, yes, there's work to be done, but it is so much better than it ever was before, especially when you look at how many people used to die in natural disasters and having that just cut dramatically over the course of the last 50 years alone. There's a lot of really good things going on in the world, but we don't hear it because evolution teaches us that we need to be afraid. It's a survival mechanic that takes our human intuition and allows us to make quick, snap judgments and make connections to where there really isn't. We always hear causation and correlation. Okay, so great. Survivability, that's huge, but in this age with so much information, it actually is a great weakness to us at times. So I said, think critically, but also come to the table with that spirit of respect. And finally, one of the interesting tools and one of the things I do want to talk a little bit about is the gift of satire and comedy. Now, I don't know any good video game satirists, so maybe you can help point me out in that direction. But what's really fascinating is Ohio did a study about the irony of satire, and really what they ended up finding within the truth spectrum, running from lies to absolute truth, from uselessness to insightful, you have an interesting place where certain things fall. You could say journalism should be insightful and closer to the truth as possible. Now, satire is insightful, but it's based obviously in fiction and lies. Now, on the useless side of the line, you've got memes and anything else that could be closer to the truth, but it's not necessarily very useful. And then at the same time, you have fake news, which is obviously closer to lies and very useless. So I don't know any really good video game satirists, but out there, I think comedy can be a huge breaking ground. I think just like with gaming and the things that we like, the things that unite us rather than divide us, comedy can be this really great way in which that everybody feels like they're a part of something, whether they're a part of the joke, where we can all have a laugh, where essentially there's a sense of ambiguity to the nature of it, where you're not feeling attacked for your beliefs. I think if anything else, if I came out here and said, you're wrong, you need to change, it doesn't elicit a sense of respect. It doesn't help to have that conversation, as opposed to having some form of relationship in which that we can start to learn how to communicate and talk to each other. Because one of the things that's very difficult about this medium is it's very passive in communication. You consume it when you need it, we make it when we can. And then hopefully we can actually communicate within the comment section below. That's the overall goal, is actually to try to understand where people are coming from and why they feel this way. Where this obviously tilts into negativity and attack, we've covered the problems, but it is this sense that we start to tear each other down because we don't like something somebody's saying. And it's really quite interesting to see that happen in real time. If I went to say, like, Warframe, it's the best game in the world, you might be inclined to say, wow, this guy is trustworthy because maybe I think Warframe is great. If I came out and said, you know, Warframe isn't that great, it has its problems, you might be inclined to shut me down and completely dismiss anything I have to say if you like Warframe. If you didn't, you might then find I'm trustworthy. Maybe the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Maybe the truth lies somewhere in discussion where we can understand it better. But we've gotten to a point, and I'm wondering if we're coming up to a point of fatigue. General fatigue around the industry, general fatigue around such, well, not necessarily toxic behavior, but perceived toxic behavior. I'm not here to prescribe any malintent on any individual, but I'm here just to ask the questions. I'm here to hopefully be a part of the conversation. I'm here hopefully to ask critical questions that lead us into hopefully a brighter future. Maybe I'm ignorant in my own way. Maybe there's nothing one individual can do, but I know that I don't want to be an echo chamber. I know I don't want to tell you everything's going to be fine when it isn't. And I don't want to be the guy who's telling you the house is burning down when everything's fine. But we shouldn't be afraid to ask the tough questions, and we shouldn't be afraid to challenge each other in the spirit of respect. Now, hopefully I've given you some tools and some things to think about, especially when it comes to challenging our own personal bias, to question everything, to approach it with the spirit of respect. And if you know a good video game satirist, I'm all about it. I really want to know what that looks like. It seems like a fascinating idea to me. And just the simple fact that, again, comedy has that unifying factor in all of this. But here's the reality. Not everybody's going to respond to this message. Not everybody's going to respond to you if you take up this call and this challenge that I've given to all of us today. This isn't just me to you. This is still also me to me as well. And they might not respond well. So I encourage you to continue that spirit of respect, regardless if it's returned to you. Let's give it as a one-way street, expecting no respect back, but we're going to keep giving it. We're going to keep that ear to the ground. We're going to keep talking as gamers, one to each other, gamer to gamer, so that we can be united in this beautiful world that we have and this time that we have together. I think that's the most important thing. Anyway, guys, I wrote this script 300 times this month. It's been a fun journey. And this part is not scripted right now. So if you're still with me in this video, I really thank you for watching it. This has been a State of the Game for February 2019. It's been this interesting journey. We're seeing lots of interesting dialogue. And I do mean when I say, I have no intentions of making this channel a echo chamber as it relates to whether a game is good or bad or happy or sad. I think it's about that all games share in this inherent goodness, this inherent joy that we can celebrate together and we can play together. And we can ask the tough questions like, hey, would it be cool if this improves? And what I think we need to get away from, and I don't know how to get there, and I'm going to keep working on it, as a way of saying that, we can say something could definitely get better, and then hopefully somebody doesn't feel like they have to jump to the defense, oh, you have to do, you haven't done all of this, or you have you have so much game, you have so much to do, so much to play, it's perfect the way it is. It's I respect it, and for people who are just absolutely in love with whatever game that might be, more power to them. But I don't know, I'm more afraid that if you're blind or you're not honest with yourself about certain things, eventually the person who's the most offending of a game ends up being the harshest critic of a game. And I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen in real time. I've seen people go from pure defense, this game has no flaws, to this game is trash. And my hope is hopefully we don't have to have that. We don't have to have that, kind of jump in polarity, when it comes to it. And that's really what this is about. Hopefully you've somewhat found this interesting. I've been doing a lot of research into echo chambers and how to kind of combat it and how to hopefully present it in this video respectfully. And dear Lord, I don't know what it's going to, what's going to come out of it. Somebody's easily probably going to say, why the hell did you call this title The Death of Reason? And I think, I think the answer to that question is, well, I called it that in a video much long ago. I was thinking about that as the title. I think it's a good title. I think that reason and the echo chamber are at odds. I think we've got this great human reason and intuition, but it's been hijacked by the algorithms in a way that it just it becomes almost impossible for us to even break out of our shells, break out of our worlds. And so for me, at the end of the day, if something really confirms my belief, I usually try to challenge it even further and even more. And because if it is true, then it's going to hold up and my argument's going to get better. If my arguments are weak, but it's still true and hopefully somebody challenges it, that's going to help make me better. And that's what I'm hoping for and hoping to do. And that's what I'm going to leave it as, guys. I have a fun idea for March for State of the Game. I do appreciate, hopefully you've enjoyed State of the Game. I'm looking again like doing it every month. And and that's it, guys. For Work to Game, my name is Brian. I love you all very much. Thank you for hanging out with me. Let me know if you got any questions, comments, concerns in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you, and let's have that conversation. But like I said, for Work to Game, I am Brian, and this has been State of the Game for February 2019. Hope you have a terrific day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Hey, it's me. It's been a while since I talked to you guys directly like this way, but don't tell anybody. We've got even more epic content planned for this channel. The response has been incredible. We hope to see you. If you're new, hit subscribe, leave us a comment. I'd like to talk to you more about video games. I can't seem to speak my language. All right.